Welcome back to Cozy Tree Studios. I am stoked to share this new tool with you. It came with the update of Logic Pro version 11. It is a stem splitting tool, supposedly powered by AI. Now, what are stems? Wikipedia says, in audio production, a stem is a discrete or grouped collection of audio sources mixed together. Okay, it's one unit in a master. All the drums are one unit. All the vocals as one unit. Maybe the bass part and the synth bass as one unit. This tool, it works as a plugin. It's built into Logic 11. I can't wait to get into it. I'm excited because it's new to me. It was a free upgrade available to license holders who've bought Logic Pro 11 and use an Apple Silicon computer. And I'm using AI for the first time in a music context. What is artificial intelligence for this? Well, it's a machine. Simply put, it's machine learning. It'll take A plus B and give you C. Okay, it's pre-trained with stem isolation parameters. It knows what vocals sound like. It knows what drums sound like. It knows what bass sounds like. A plus B. B is the subject matter. It's what you give it. In this case, I can give it a stereo master, a single of left and right. So A plus B equals C. C is 4 tracks in Logic Pro that came out of one. And then it sounds exactly like it did before, until you start changing the mix. You can increase some faders, decrease some faders. You can mute parts. You can bring up some parts. And you could even add effects to some parts. Like I used this when I was practicing bass. I just wanted to hear it more clearly when it was played through my phone. So I took a fuzz patch and put it on the bass guitar, so it'd play through and just cut through the mix better for my own personal use. And so I'm excited for musicians to become better musicians and maybe better humans in their off time through saving time in their practice to make their performance better. It's kind of gone around the internet recently that AI is going to take over the jobs of musicians. It's going to take over the jobs of producers and mastering engineers. And maybe some of that is true, but it may just free us up to be more creative. And that's what I'm excited about. And it's another tool we can learn to use and leverage for our benefit and for the good of others. So it'll save time in practicing. It'll save our ears. Instead of listening to something 10 times through headphones or loudspeakers, well, what if you could just pull it down in the mix? Just turn down all the mids, and so you could hear the vocal clearly. Or what if you wanted to mute the bass altogether and play along? I mean, that'd be cool. So I've been doing that for the last 2 weeks, and I finally got a chance to share it with you. The information that I've learned. Okay, and I'll give you a little example, and there will be a part 2 to this video where I'll answer some of my personal questions, like, could it separate individual vocal parts, the people singing? B, could it work on dialogue isolation from ambient noise, like traffic or restaurant silverware clinking or whatnot? And how could I use this as a creative tool in my studio, not just in the practice room, sharing with my band members so they could learn things quicker and more easily? I'll answer some of those at the end. Let's get into it. Let me open a project of Logic Pro. I'll show you where I got this track. Okay, downloaded for free from YouTube Studio. It is by the artist Track Tribe, and it has a YouTube audio library license. No attribution required, but I'm going to give them credit anyway. I'm going to show you where to find them on their YouTube and their Spotify. This is one of their members. He's a killer bass player, and they're just creating music. This is their... We're 100% independent and dedicated to giving back to our global community through what connects each of us together through music. And I'm using it legally. I'm not going to get taken down for content ID when I play this. So I've downloaded it already. It's on my desktop. I'm going to drag it into Logic Pro. Okay. It's there. And I'm going to, well, look at that. It's at the very top. I can also find it in processing. When you right click on an audio region, stem splitter. Okay. Simple question. Check the boxes for how many stems you want this track split into. I want 4 tracks. That was quick. That was really quick. Now it plays back as it did before. Okay. Skip the intro. The bass doesn't start till much later, but I'm going to take away the mids. Now I can hear the drums really clearly. Okay. I could mute everything and hear only the vocals. It's a nice song. All right. The bass has come in. As a bass player, I would want to hear drums. Maybe I'd want to turn down the vocals and just play along. Learn their part. This appears to be a sub bass. It's just one. All right. Oh, I was missing something. That's the other category. That's the other category. I'll solo the other category. So it sounds like pad. Some reverse electric guitar tones. And it sounds like acoustic guitar, of course. I don't hear any piano. I don't hear any organ. Let's bring everything back in. So what's cool about this? I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And across the beginning to end, look at this. You can see the drum break right here. That's cool. That's cool. There's no bass during the drum break. Interesting. I just learned that. What is this area? This section of the music has only vocals and everything else, but there's no drums, no bass. So I'm learning about arranging with my eyes. That's cool. I can see it all 5 minutes of this song, however long it is, at a glance, and I can visually map it out. If you're like me and you're very much in the moment, you can't remember what happened before or think about what's happening next very easily sometimes. And this could be a really awesome tool. Maybe you would screenshot this and maybe you would label sections. I could label intro, verse, chorus, bridge, all that. And yeah, this I'm geeking out over this. Real specifically, if you were a singer, how would you use this? If I was to remix this for a singer in my band, maybe I would take the vocal part and pan it hard left. Maybe I would keep the drums and bass right down the middle. And I would take the all the other instruments and put it on the right. I can hear the difference. The left can is just drums and bass and vocal. Okay. Let me get a section with all the things again. And I could take off the other earphone. And I hear drums, bass, and instruments, but no vocal. Really easy. Just remove an ear. And then you're ready to practice your vocal track. You're ready to practice your vocal without cues. And that's what I would challenge a vocalist to do, is learn your part in a way where you're listening for the other people. The joke usually is, I want more me in my monitor. Well, everyone wants more of them in their monitor. It's a confidence thing. It's a booster. For me, yeah, I like to hear myself in my monitor. That way I can know. I'm going to turn. I turn myself down. I like to have plenty of me in my monitor so I can hear if I'm playing wrong notes. But if I know my part and I know what notes to play and I know what they feel like, I want me out of the way in my ears, and I want to hear the other people so I can play to serve the whole group as a unit. And so that's where I think this tool could be really beneficial to musicians and make us better humans, listening to others more than focusing on ourselves. So I hope you enjoyed this quick introduction to the stem splitter in Logic Pro 11. There are alternatives on the market. Isotope is a plugin you can buy. The whole suite includes Rebalance is the name of their stem splitter. It comes with a lot of stuff, but I bought Logic once and it has free updates forever. And now I got this. And so I'm super excited. I promised to try to answer a couple of my questions, and I also want to ask you some questions. So my first question, could it separate individual vocalist parts? It doesn't yet. I'd love to see that possibility in the future. Maybe some of the paid plugins do that. I don't know. If you know of a way to do that, I'd love to hear about it. But as a musician, just why don't you use your ears and try to pick it out. And I love the freedom when I sing harmonies, the freedom of finding a unique part that works with the instruments. Could it work on dialogue isolation and background music removal? Yes, it works. I've done it. At one point, I forgot to turn off my monitors playing back music, and I was cleaning up of a narration track for a video, and it was super useful. I was delighted to find that I could remove background music playing in the other room or right in the room. I could isolate and just mute everything but my voice. So that was great. Thirdly, how could I use this as a creative tool in my studio? Now this gets to what can I use this for in my studio? I could see this as a helpful tool for outlining a song. If I'm going to create my own cover of an arrangement, it could be helpful to, for me, if I'm going to lay new guitar parts, to be able to hear the original drums, hear the original vocal, before I track replacements. And in the next video, I'm going to do a little bit of that live, and we're going to have a lot of fun together. I can't wait for the next video where we see that. Well, I talked about the ability to see an arrangement and apply that knowledge to creating songs. There has to be space for some instruments for other instruments to breathe. Like bass players don't play the whole time. Drummers maybe let off for a section or simplify. Just subtract something. Make yourself a rule. Like I'm not going to use any cymbals, not going to use any toms for a section, and just vary it up. And my question's for you. If you can imagine making your own in-ear mix, this is essentially you're making a remix in a performance setting, what do you like to hear in your monitor? Lots of you, maybe a little of the drums, maybe a little of the bass. Do you want to hear lots of vocals or less vocals? Do you want to hear your vocal over the others, or do you want to hear the other vocals over yours? All good questions. There's no wrong answer, and I think there's a time and a place for every kind of mix in the practice room and in the performance setting. If you could re-record some song, anyhow, I think that's the end of part 1. This was how to use it in practice session. The next video will be how to use it as a creative tool. I could do something different on electric. I'd love to make some different percussion. This makes me happy. So I hope it makes you happy, and I hope this was enjoyable. Sparked your fancy and got you inspired. Comment with your questions and suggestions. See you later.